It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Vera and Heather back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Hi, Vera.
Hey, Heather.
Man, so a lot has happened between the last time we recorded, because sometimes we like to record back-to-back episodes. We typically try to record every week, but just sometimes we know like, oh, I'm going out of town, blah, 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 and we record early. So it's been like 3 weeks, I think, since we've talked. And since then, I joined the COVID club.
Yes. Oh, yeah. How are you feeling?
I'm fine. It just sucks because it's like, it was, I was tired, and then Brad was at annual training and I had Baker by myself, and I'm trying to also work, and I only got like 2 days to like really like die and then come back to life. And I didn't want to, but I had to, I didn't have a choice. I was like, I hate this. It sucks. My life. It sucks. I mean, I survived, so that was good, but I still have like some of the effects from it. And it's like, I guess it hasn't been 3 weeks. It's only been symptoms started almost 3 weeks ago.
Huh.
So yeah, but it was like perfect timing if you can have a perfect timing as far as like future events, because we had I had a conference that I had to go to, and I was 10 days out from testing positive. So I was in the clear, but I was just like, oh my God, I've been, planning this event for, not me, I haven't been planning it, but I'm planning on attending this, this event for months now. And I, blah, 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 and so on and so on. And, so it was, that was perfect timing. And right on the last day of that, we flew out of town to Brad's, brother's 50th birthday party. It was a surprise. He didn't realize it. He was surprised until he pulled into the driveway, because there was nowhere we could hide the cars.
Aww.
So yeah. So I mean, if you're talking about events, I guess it's the best, but it was stressful and I hated it. But I mean, it was okay. But I also was coming off of another cold that I still hadn't healed from. I was still coughing from that, and I was just getting better. And so I'm just like, I'm going on about 2 months of just
sickness.
Coughing. Yeah.
So do you take vitamin D and all that, and zinc and all that stuff?
When I remember vitamin D, yes. I did, like, once I started coming down with symptoms, I did like elderberry and like vitamin C. And then I did
zinc is helpful.
Dayquil, NyQuil. Oh, the only thing with zinc is like I can't eat or drink or something like that at like 15 minutes before. I'm just like, too many rules. I can't do it. So let me take it willy-nilly when I want, with reckless abandon. It's bad enough that I have to remember how many hours it's been since I've taken it, but I did get some like cough pearl things. So I had them years ago when I had the flu, and I was 5 weeks out from that, and I was still coughing, like really bad coughing, so much so I went to urgent care because I was like, I can't tolerate this anymore. They thought I had pneumonia. But that'd be weird. You have ammonia. So yeah. So she's like, have you ever had these, I call them cough pearls because it's called something pearls. And I was like, yes, I've had them once and they worked miracle. And so I think that's kind of what has helped it not sit on my chest, because colds usually do. But I also heard this one's kind of, this strand is not as intense in the lung department.
Wow.
How's Jerry feeling?
Oh, he's fine. Yeah.
And you never got it.
He's a tough cookie. I never got it. So far as I know, never got it.
That's
good.
I
didn't show any signs of it. And, the tests that I took, they were all negative. So
yeah.
I mean, we did a pretty good job of avoiding each other. But it was really nice to finally get into my own bed and be like, I'm home now, even though my guest room is quite lovely, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Who knew? Because I've always thought like, oh, I don't know. Are people comfortable in there?
Yeah, they are.
It's like, it is quite comfortable.
I actually thought I originally had the flu because I was exposed to the flu, and I got the flu shot too. And I took a COVID test at home and it was fine. And the doctor I went to urgent care because I was like, I need to nip this S in the bud right now because I do not have the time for this. And so I was going to go get like Tamiflu, because I've heard that works. I've never used it.
Yeah.
And so she's like,
that works.
She's like, I don't want to say it's what it is, but I think it's COVID. And I was like, why? And she's like, from my, from what I'm noticing, the hoarse throat that you're coming in with, she's like, that's COVID's presenting like that right now. And I was like, what? She also, so I went back the next day. She's like, if you don't get better, the next couple of days, come back, we'll test you again. And I tested that night and I came back positive. And I went in the next day because I was like, again, I don't have time for this. I need to get rid of this ASAP. And so I went in hoping that they're going to give me something, because I heard that they give something sometimes. And she's like, well, it sucks. You're just going to have to ride it out, but we can give you these pearls. I was like, at least it's something.
Yeah. No, that Jerry took that. I forgot what it's called. That Jerry did take it, but of course Jerry's almost 70. So
yeah, well, I had the body of a 70-year-old, so get it, check. So yeah, but she's like, she could, before she knew I had COVID, and I already told them, but I guess they were confirming it. She goes, your eye, she goes, are you sure you don't have COVID? Your eyes are really red. And that's also a sign of COVID. I was like, oh wow. No, I do. I tested. I mean, they were bloodshot.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, there you go. There's no one, they literally don't want to do anything for me. So she was really nice though. She really was. She's just like, you're gonna have to write it out. Sorry. I'm like, but I heard the rumors that there were things that make you better.
Where's my stuff that makes me feel better?
I know. I just want to feel better.
Yeah, Jerry took that. I mean, literally, but of course, Jerry, knock on wood, he's so tough. Like he's so like.
What are you trying to say?
You're not.
It's not that I'm not. I just didn't have time for it.
Yeah, no, I understand. And no, he took that, whatever, I forgot what it's called, but you take it for like 5 days, and sure enough, he was good. His symptoms, he felt like ass for several days, but then after that, he was pretty much good to go. Same. He only had a fever for like 1 day, and so he's he was good to go, thankfully, because I was still a little worried, because for some reason he's very prone to pneumonia. Even when he was younger, he gets pneumonia very easily. I don't, his lungs, for some reason. Yeah, he's never smoked or anything. That's just for some reason, that's just him. So I worried about that, but thankfully he's fine. So
yeah, my dad was the same way. He had pneumonia a couple times, and so that's what I'm concerned with, because I am my father's daughter, and it always settles on my chest. So I'm always so nervous about getting pneumonia.
Yeah. Some people, my sister too, like whenever I get sick, it's either stomach sick or like sinuses. It hardly ever, knock on wood, goes into my chest. But my sister goes into her, she was always getting bronchitis as a child, and I almost never got it. It's just, I don't know. That's just not mine.
I never got the flu until I was a full-fledged adult many times over.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, I am great. I'm immune from the flu. No problem. Not true. So now I get that.
Of course, when you have a walking petri dish, AKA
right. Jeez, my God. You think by now he's gotten everything. Seriously.
No.
Definitely there's more to come.
And then there's the stinky teenager years. You just wait. Yeah, it's fun.
He's been really good this past week, though. Oh my God. I was like, who is this amazing child? Because he's a little defiant. He's been going through listen, this is the last time I'm doing this. I'm like, the
listen to me, Linda.
I'm like, no, I'm like, stop. I'm like, I'm so tired of you telling me what you are and aren't going to do. And I said, but I was like, if I tell you something, you can ask me a question. Your options are yes or ask me a question. You don't get to say no. Obviously, within reason, right? Like if it's another figure and he's questioning it, obviously. But for me, like, I'm telling you these things because I need you to get them done. But yeah, he's been going through a little bit of a defiant stage. But hold on, I'm gonna cough real quick off the mic.
Stand by as Heather coughs.
Yeah. This intermission is brought to you by COVID.
By cough pearly thingies, whatever they're called.
Well, they actually were. I'm just had this lingering stupid cough. Anyways, so yesterday I went outside to water our grass, and I told Baker, I was like, listen, you have this is the last episode. It's 13 minutes. And I looked at my clock in my watch so I could have a roundabout time, but honestly, I really didn't care. But I just wanted him to, I just wanted him to stop watching it at a certain point. I was like, turn the TV off, come outside and get me. And so 13 minutes later, he comes outside. He's Mommy. I was like, oh, hey, babe. And then I was like, okay, so go downstairs because Brad was on a call. And I was like, get, have daddy or tell daddy good night. And then go upstairs and get your pajamas on. And so he's like, okay. And so I walked in probably 5 minutes later and I fully expected the TV to still be on and, but at least he walked away. So I'm calling that a win, but the TV is off. The basement door is open. So I called down and he wasn't there. I walked upstairs and he's sitting on the bathroom counter, brushing his teeth. I was like, who is this child? Who is he? And he's had like great days at school this week. And I know I'm cursing myself, but I just have to revel in this moment.
Yes.
And just embrace it and say, he's a great kid. So
I'm so happy for you. Yes. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Oh, I know. But we're really trying to provide that positive, like, oh my gosh, we were so proud of you. Mom and Dad love hearing these things. And
yeah, well, that's the thing I keep telling myself, because I remember, when Luke was little and, you go through those stages where they're total pain in the ass and you just want to throw them out the window. And, as I always say, and, then, like something like that will happen, where it's like, oh my God, they're amazing and they're being so good. And, so I would tell people that, this too shall pass, it's always that, the kids, they go through these phases and it's like, you're just when you think you're done, there's no more, I can't handle anymore. Then they like all of a sudden, brush their teeth without being asked or whatever, they do something like that. So I'm living on that now with my 19-year-old. So I keep telling myself, this too shall pass, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. Like, I'm going to survive this. And truly, like, I do have little glimmers of hope with him. We actually did some counseling together the other day, and that was really helpful. Yeah, super duper helpful. Highly recommend, even though I know a lot of people aren't big into counseling, or therapy, it was really helpful. Like, we went from like the start of we did it all via Zoom. So we went from the start of the call where he's just like, whatever, his body language is like, whatever, Mom, and I'm like, oh, it's the kid I don't like.
I just
I know, exactly. So, and the two of us like crying and whatever, and Mom, to the end of it where we're like laughing and like it was so good. Like, it was such a 180. Again, a good therapist helps. But so anyway, since then he's been doing fairly well, but it's still, even at, you think, oh yay, they're 18, oh, they're an adult.
Yeah, it goes on. And we're gonna get some more expertise on adult raising, parenting an adult, because it doesn't end after 18 as much as we keep telling ourselves like that. I think my mom said that one time I was just such a problem in high school, and I wasn't even 18 actually. I graduated high school, and she goes, "You are no longer my problem."
Wow.
Like, okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Love you too, Mom.
Yeah. So or my responsibility, or it was something, but I feel like she did say problem, but she may not have. If that's what it felt like, that's the message that was received. Because she no longer had a, I graduated from high school. She didn't have to, I was no longer, if I didn't go to school, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Wow.
So long catch up. I'm sorry about that. But because we do have a really heavy, important subject to discuss today, that like, I'm going to get real emotional. Sorry.
I know this is hard. And like, I debated when, we talked about discussing it. I was like, I don't know, because I don't want us to be political, but at the same time, this is not, this is
It's not political. We're not choosing a party. We're choosing a human.
Right.
So we all know Roe v. Wade was overturned with the Supreme Court. And gosh, okay, get together. So it doesn't affect me personally because I live in a state that is wide open. And I'm so thankful for that. Also, hold on one second. I gotta cough again. I'm sorry.
Okay. Stand by as Heather coughs.
But also there are over half the states are saying to women, you don't get a right to your body. And that's like the ultimate thing. Like, I don't care if you believe in abortion, you don't believe in abortion,
right?
You're God-fearing, you're not God-fearing. I don't care. It's the fact that the majority of the population, being women, are now being told, you don't get a say in your body. And this is the first step, right? This is the first step of they're controlling women more.
Well, and not only that, but then, some states are saying, well, then how can we make sure that they don't travel out of state? Yeah. So what are they? I mean, like if you watched, Handmaid's Tale, like, are they going to start putting little trackers on us so they can track us? Oh, she's going to get an abortion in Colorado. Better track her to, hunt her down. And, or even worse, God forbid you have a miscarriage. Well, that's a crime scene. So did she do something to have a miscarriage? Did she take an abortion pill? Did she what if your child is born with fetal alcohol syndrome? Well, can you be prosecuted for that then? At that point, you could possibly be prosecuted. So I understand the underlying sentiment of pro-life. Yeah, totally understand that. However, there's so many unintended consequences and so many it's so much more complicated than that.
But also I think it goes down to the fact that your chosen religion, doctrine, moral compass is now impeding on my choices. Right. And that's the thing. You made a choice to believe these things. And because of your choice, now I don't have a choice. That's not fair.
And they're going to start, apparently, I don't know. Are they going to start tracking us? Like I said, they're going to start tracking us. And then you have a miscarriage. That's a crime scene. We got to make sure you didn't murder your baby.
And then some places are, looking at now Plan B and all that stuff that,
I know, which is not an abortion pill. Plan B is the same thing as contraception.
It's ridiculous. So
it is. It's scary. No, it's scary because that's the thing is, again, I am pro-choice. That doesn't mean I am pro-abortion.
It's not like I'm making
people have an abortion. Yeah, I am not making people have abortions.
And also, let's talk about what a definition of an abortion is. That is any time that a fetus, fetal cells are in a woman's body and are being removed. So as a person that had a miscarriage and had to have a D&C, I legally and by medical definition had an abortion. That's also covered under these laws, in case you were wondering.
Really?
Yes, because and it's a sliding scale depending on what state you're in. If it's life-threatening to the mother, and the consequence of that is, when is life-threatening? Is it when they're in ICU? Is it when they're in a coma? Is it when they're bleeding out? Like, is it when they hit a certain amount of blood that they're having to transfuse in this woman's body? Like, when is that? So now doctors are being tasked with being a legal person now. Oh, legally, I can't do that until I hit one point. I don't know. There's a viral text going around about somebody in one of these states that was like, so the doctor was on the phone for hours with a lawyer because he didn't want to get his license revoked,
right?
Because of the laws, but he also wanted to save this woman's life, and she wound up in ICU because of.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, the way that
and it was because of a miscarriage. It's because of I think an ectopic pregnancy, I think is what it was. So it wasn't even like she tried doing an abortion on her own. So it's just wake up.
I know. No, well, the way that some people, they just are not thinking. They're so focused on saving the life of the child, which I understand. Again, I understand it. I can wrap my brain around that, but at the same time, there's another person involved here. It's the woman, and
who's been paying taxes, who's been contributing to society, who has less rights now than a cadaver.
Right. Pretty much
a dead person.
Yeah. So go ahead, start putting trackers on us and telling us that we have to have children. So here's the other unintended consequence. Our employers then, so say you're pregnant, say you work in an Amazon, shipping thing, which is very physical. So by the time you're 6 months pregnant, you maybe can't do your job.
Yeah.
But you couldn't have an abortion. So Amazon, then what happens then? So Amazon fires you because you can't do your job. So
I do think that I like that some of these big corporations like Disney, I was just shocked with Disney coming up. I was like, what? I don't think it's truly because we care about employees. I think it really is. It is less expensive for us to pay for travel and abortion than it is for maternity leave. So,
and I use Amazon just as an example, like I'm not saying Amazon would necessarily fire that, but so that's the thing though. You're going to lose employees, and then the woman's without income. So she's
who's going to help the baby? Because once we know based on laws that they don't, like at that point, like once it's out of the body, there's no support.
No, I mean, and by the way, how many men are there running around that have babies that they don't pay for, that they don't pay any child support? So the government's already got a bunch of kids on welfare and food stamps and whatever.
Like 400 and something thousand kids in foster care.
So
you're
so focused on these poor babies that are being aborted. We just saved millions of lives. I'm like, yeah. And what's that like? What are their lives going to look like? Yeah. Not only the baby's life, but the mother, so you're going to have these people who are not going to be able to pay for their, to cover themselves, take care of themselves, not to mention they were not thinking about getting pregnant because again, too, you can take birth control. Well, great. But sometimes birth control doesn't work, you know?
Yeah.
So
I had somebody say that on Facebook. They're like, use a condom. Then I was like, obviously someone hasn't been reading the inserts on condoms or the packaging on birth control. So bye, boo.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't always work. No, I mean, I have a friend who luckily she was married and, and everything. She wouldn't change it, but she did plan B and the plan B didn't work.
Oh, geez.
So they had a baby. So, again, she wasn't going to, wow, she didn't have an abortion. There you go. But, they made the sacrifices and the things they needed to do in order to have the baby, but not everybody can do that if you're not prepared. And it's like, I hope all these pro-lifers who are jumping up and down are prepared to put as much energy into fighting Roe v. Wade as they will put into now raising money and taking care of all the women and children that are going to need help.
Yeah.
Are you prepared as a society to take care of these people?
And if we're gonna control bodies, then like at that point, if a woman gets pregnant and was unintended, then can hold that man accountable, make him get a vasectomy so that doesn't happen again.
Oh, I've always said that, like, if it's funny, ironically, I'd be like, oh, I'll never get overturned. But if Roe v. Wade was ever overturned, which now it is, I used to say, well, okay, so you find these guys who have like, several baby mamas.
Yeah.
Happen to know one.
Nick Cannon, is that who you were talking about?
Yeah, Nick Cannon. Yeah.
He does. He's like 6 or 7.
Well, which is fine as long as you're paying child support, as long as you're supporting those children. But if they are not supporting the children that they created, then you say like if they have more than 2, then they have to have a vasectomy. Sorry, dude. Because the world's not good. We're not going to pay for your children that you're making and you're not supporting. But that's the thing. It's misogynistic. It's all about the woman.
Oh, it's about control. It has nothing to do about actual life. The laws. Now, I'm not saying the people out there that are pro-life don't. have any concern with any of that. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is the laws and the people making those laws, they are just riding in on your heartstrings and saying pro-life, but they have zero interest in your life. Zero. It's all about control. It has nothing to do about those lives. And you can tell by the laws that are being made. So when people say pro-life, I suggest very highly to go in and look at laws that they have supported or voted on in the past to see, are they putting their money where their mouth is? Let's talk about the formula shortage.
Yes.
They wouldn't we want you to not have an abortion, but you know what? When formula's down, too bad. You use those boobies. And then on top of that, and I posted this yesterday on my page, there was it passed oh gosh, I can't remember which one it passed, but it's about protecting women in breastfeeding so that they have time to pump. They have a safe space on the property or, wherever their job is so that they are able to pump. Cause, a lot of times they just are like, go to the bathroom, there's your space. So, that was on the floor to protect these things. One of the people from Wyoming said, oh no, this might create a bigger supply chain shortage. So now they can't even they don't even have, there's certain protections already in place, but this would cover 9 million more women. 9 million women this is going to affect. And no. Oh, shucks. And it's because and I think part of those 9 million people are teachers.
Wow.
That they get paid. They get, while they're pumping, they're on the clock. So they don't have to clock out to go pump to feed their children because, that's an important freaking thing. But, just use formula. Oh yeah, we don't have formula. It's fine. You'll figure it out. Grass, water, whatever you need.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. It's not, well, and again, maternity leave. So you can do your job, maternity leave. I mean, if you work for a company they have the Family Medical Leave Act, right? So, but you have to work for a company that has more than 50 employees.
And it's a year or two before, or a year before.
And you're not guaranteed pay.
Yeah, no,
You're
it's
guaranteed
just that
to
they will give
leave.
you the time. Yeah.
They'll give you the time off, but you don't get paid.
Yep.
So again, it's just, this is gonna, it's
and
just,
healthcare. What about healthcare? We don't so I've seen a lot of posts about forced birth shouldn't, if we're going to be forcing people to have birth, then we should have quality free healthcare.
Yeah.
To birth
right, exactly.
People.
Who's
and
gonna
then once
pay,
they come out,
they
get to have the free healthcare.
Who's going to pay for all this? And that's the thing. Okay, if you want to look at it, who in the hell is going to pay for all this? And not only that, not just fiscally, but socially, who's going to make sure that these children are raised in the proper environment and that they're raised to be healthy, viable, lovely humans.
Yeah.
If again, you're not prepared to have a child, you're not prepared mentally to manage. I mean, that's the whole reason for this podcast. Because it's exhausting being a mother. Oh,
and I've said it before. If I could take away the actual parenting piece, I would love being a parent.
Oh yeah,
I love my child. I will never change.
I love my kid. Yeah,
but the parenting is freaking hard.
It's really hard, and so if you are not mentally prepared for it, it's so much more complicated than, oh, we're saving babies. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now what?
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. I mean, I would much rather that you keep the legislation in place, the way it was, and then, work towards, okay, fine. If you're against abortion, that's fine. And if you want to convince people not to have abortions, that's fine too. Do it, man. And support those women and, help them have their babies and bring this baby into the world and save their lives or whatever. Great. Do it. Absolutely. But you can't make this blanket law because it's so much more complicated.
Yeah. So much more complicated.
Well, supposedly too, I just read that there's a big rush on vasectomies, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
supposedly they've gone up like
That's
like
the first line of defense.
300%.
Hello.
Well, exactly. Well, that's what I would tell Lucas, once he was old enough to know about sex and everything, I would say, use a condom. You're the loaded gun, man.
Yeah.
You like you can save yourself from the worry of getting a girl pregnant. Granted, we know that condoms aren't always 100%.
Agreed.
But still, you have the power, man. You don't have to be like one of those guys that's like, oh, she said she was on the pill.
No, don't ever
wear a
believe
condom,
anybody.
or get a vasectomy. I don't want him to get a vasectomy, but
Well, they're
so yeah,
reversible.
supposedly,
But also even
there are men
vasectomies aren't
rushing to do
100%.
True.
I have a friend that she was 16 years younger than her next oldest sibling because of a vasectomy that reversed itself.
Yeah, they do that. Yep. And well, that's every once in a while, because I'm still, despite being 47, almost 48. I'm still viable. so
they say.
Everything's, yeah, right. Everything's still functioning normally. And Jerry had a vasectomy, and there's every once in a while where I'll be a little bit late. I'm like, okay, it's either menopause is coming or I'm pregnant. What the hell is going on? Because I'm normally like 28 days right there.
Yeah.
So there's every once in a while where I'm like, what the hell? And Jerry's friends with his urologist. So he's like, well, we're calling Joe, and we're going to let him know he owes us a college education or whatever, if we got pregnant. But yeah. So yes, I know that they definitely, there are people who still every once in a while that those tubes somehow grow back together.
Yeah. We have our merch line, right? The I Can't Mom Today. I mean, do you know that, Vera? Do you?
I do, actually.
Oh, you're familiar with it. I have my shirt on now, and we'll put the link in the show notes. But so we go through a company, and then we get a certain percentage of any sales. And Vera and I want to donate 100% of that to a nonprofit that is helping the people that are in these states that have these wackadoo laws. And so that is something that we're going to commit to. So head over, buy your I Can't Mom Today merch, and we will donate everything from that.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the show notes. And actually too, if anybody has a suggestion on where to donate that money, there might be an organization that about that we can send that money to.
Yeah. So I follow somebody on social media that's huge advocate. So I will put a ton of links. There's so many links for so many nonprofits. I'll put them in the show notes too.
Cool. Yeah. And then of course, don't forget, you can email us, ican'tmomtodaypodcast@gmail. And of course, find us, we're on all the socials.
Yeah. And we're truly not trying to make this political. We are truly trying to say, every woman has a right to choose what is okay, is good for her body.
Right.
And
yeah, exactly.
It's her body, and nobody, like, it doesn't matter if, she's married, she is not in a relationship, she got, got wasted,
or maybe raped.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. These poor, young girls too. I mean, unfortunately, it happens where young girls get, abused by family members.
But I know people say that about a lot of things, say that a lot, but the message that we are trying to convey is it doesn't matter. It's her body. So get out, unless you're planning on supporting her.
Exactly.
Get out. Yep. And even if you're planning on supporting her, get the F out. Like, that is her body. Sorry. Right. Sorry, not sorry.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. So until next time.
Yes. And don't forget to rate the podcast, pick up your merch, and don't
rate it on politics for you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.